Hey, you guys. So, we're going to do season 14, episode 1 a little different because we need to get some momentum on the show. So, I'm going to tell you what happened on the show and I'm going to weave the gossip into like what we're talking about on tonight's plot. Okay. And then next week, we'll do it more like the normal format where I do the gossip dump in the beginning and then, we get into the recap. All right, let's get started. So we start off the episode with Sutton and one of our 3 kids, Porter. She's going off to college at William and Mary in Virginia. And we found out that she wants to be a lawyer. And then we see Jennifer Tilly, her good friend, hanging out with her, and is very animated and excited that Sutton Strack's kids are not doing drugs or some other bad thing, and instead 1950s kids or something to that effect. So this is how the show opens tonight. So you guys know Sutton Strack's store has been closed for some time. Her website was kind of meh for a while, and it looks like she revamped it in time for the season. I just went and checked it out. Anyway, here's Sutton Strack, and she said that she missed Kyle Richards. She felt like she wasn't a good friend to her, and she kind of missed her to send her presents, which I thought was unusual. Perhaps this is why Kyle is friends with Sutton. Really? So Sutton Strack, flexing her cultural, artistic sense, I guess, goes to a very commercial, surreal artist that she wants to use as inspiration for her next party and ball, Salvatore Dali. This is a surreal filter, by the way. Too bad nobody could change their face on the show. That would be probably more interesting than the outfits we saw in tonight's party scene. So Sutton Strack recently attacked Dorit Kemsley. She said that Dorit Kemsley had a ton of plastic surgery, so no wonder she's so pretty. And then Dorit Kemsley hit back with, well, if that's all it takes, then why aren't you pretty, Sutton? Oh boy. I struggled even to say it on my video tonight. That was so shady. So we see Erica Jane Girardi going into the Mogul store at the Pacific Design Center in Los Angeles. It's an accessory store. We get the sense that Erica Jane Girardi is trying to maybe replace her living room furniture to move on from Tom Girardi, because really he's like an old couch. Who needs him now? He has no dough, and well, let's face it, he's been sent out to pasture. So Erica Jane Girardi is looking for a new interior to perhaps entice a new man. And she starts at Mogul and invites her very fashionable friend, sort of, Dorit Kemsley to join her. And Dorit's got news. This scene is quite cringe because we knew Erica Jane Girardi is still being pursued by Ronald Richards for the $20 million that was allegedly misappropriated by her company that she received from Tom Girardi, that she said she doesn't know how that money got in her damn bank account. She just kept using that credit card. Also, it's awkward because we know that the Marco case is going to be heard soon. And that case, of course, alleges that Erica Jane Girardi took these really lovely designers that were big advocates in the LGBTQ community and loved by the LGBTQ community and used them to design her elaborate costumes for her concerts. And then she alleged that they overcharged her, and she used Tom Girardi's powerful contacts along with Tom Girardi to get an investigation done and an indictment kicked off to ruin their lives and their business forever. And some of the people in the LGBTQ community are pretty pissed at Erica Jane Girardi for hurting Marco and his business partner because they're loved in that community. And well, that case should be heard any minute. You might be asking yourself, why did she do that? Well, if American Express believes a fraud has happened, then they don't make you pay the bill. So he may win a civil case against Erica Jane Girardi saying that she fraudulently said all these bad things about him and ruined his life, and he wants damages now. Erica Jane Girardi has also decided to let Ronald Richards' wife keep the earrings that he bought from the trustee to give to the many creditors that were due the money in the bankruptcy of Girardi. Erica fought like hell, but in the end, Ronald's wife is sporting those diamonds. God, that's gotta hurt. Anyway, the producers look long and hard for a random cigar box or jewelry box or knick-knack box that's worth $68,000 to pretend like Erica Jane Girardi might actually buy it, but we know that's definitely not happening. And look, there were things that were much more affordable in that store, so maybe she should have aimed a little lower in that scene. So now there's a big scene where Dorit tells Erica Jane Girardi a bunch of tea to do with her and PK. And I am going to now summarize all of it. It happens over multiple scenes, but you come here to get the juice in a Cliff Note-y way. So here we go. We find out that Dorit and PK separated, that they are not going to tell the kids that are like 8 and 10 or something like that, at least when they're shooting this scene, and that they're going to just pretend like they're still together and co-parent the kids because they believe they can't, take it, like to hear the truth, that it's over. We find out that it's PK who ended the marriage, not Dorit. That's interesting. I've got some thoughts on that in a minute. And the reason that PK doesn't want to be with Dorit anymore, allegedly, is that he's an alcoholic and he gets his sobriety and he decides in his clarity that they just eat each other up and hurt each other, and he doesn't want to be in a relationship like that anymore. He feels like it's toxic. He also feels like he's constantly being criticized for going away with his friends and out, and he's just trying to provide the lavish lifestyle that Dorit requires. More thoughts on that in a minute. Just telling you the tea as she spilled it. Also, PK spills some tea. I'm going to play you that part, though. I want you to hear that for yourself. So it becomes pretty apparent at this point, or it should, that Dorit Kemsley has pretty much lied to you guys for quite some time now. And, PK didn't suddenly become an alcoholic overnight. What really happened was he was leaving all the time. She was home alone. When he's out, he's getting hammered and doing crazy things, and she doesn't know what he's doing, and he's not being totally straightforward with her or honest. And I think Dorit secretly wanted to believe that maybe I could be right, and he's cheating in London. Okay, but we'll put that aside for a minute because she very clearly says that cheating was not about this breakup. It was to do with PK's abuse of alcohol and all of that, right? Okay, well, that might explain why he always late at night in London would send me messages of wanting to drown me in a lake and suddenly attack me and all this stuff. I always knew he was good and drunk when he did that. Anyway, I used to say, PK's drinking again in the Patreon. So anyway, but he's sober now. He's in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I guess, he's fixing himself. But the sober him does not want to be with Dorit. Can't be with her sober. I think that's true of a few of the cast members, too. So whenever you hear Dorit Kemsley giving a speech about somebody, like she's running for president or delivering a message, on behalf of a country, know that means that she's lying to you and she doesn't want you to know the truth about that particular topic, okay? We're going to see Dorit get real this season, tonight for the first time maybe ever. But up to this point, you haven't seen any real part of Dorit except the social climbing part, which is why she snuggled up to Kathy Hilton over Kyle Richards. And Kyle knows it deep down inside. So some other tea we find out is they've had a rough couple years. So even though they've been married 9 years, they've had quite a few years that have been rough. Oh, I know. And that's it. But that's as far as she goes on that front. Now, let me play you, because the epic scene that we were all dying over when it came out in the tabloids that Mauricio and PK met for a drink. Mauricio, newly separated from Kyle, had just moved out. PK, the announcement just dropped that he's also, not with Dorit anymore. The world clamored, was Mauricio going to reach out to Dorit and try to maybe hook up with her because they had so much flirtation on the show? Was PK pissed at Mauricio about that? Or were they going to just keep their friendship going and now use this as an opportunity to party together as two single guys with hot chicks? And guess what? It was the latter. Recently, PK and Mauricio took a guys' trip to Miami, where I think they were probably paid for an appearance to do together. Obviously, Mauricio has got at the agency a small, boutique office in Miami, maybe two. I think I looked into this. Not a big deal. But anyway, it's there. And Mauricio and PK went and they did this party together. They stayed at the Good Time Hotel, which is what we saw on Buying Beverly Hills. And so I think PK and Mauricio have made up, because I really do believe that they had a bit of a falling out over the real estate show they were supposed to do together, and then they kind of went their separate ways on the TV show. And I think now that they both did a show and the show got canceled, they're kind of back friends again, right? That big elephant's out of the room. So anyway, Mauricio and PK's Miami tour. They wrote over the photo that they posted of them partying in Miami. The men then went to the swim club, Strawberry Moon, located inside the Good Time Hotel in Miami Beach, where they attended Kyle Cook's DJ set. It was here where the duo got the VIP treatment, including a marquee with their names on it. Were able to embrace one another amidst all the chaos and even dance alongside Jesse Solomon in the booth as Kyle was DJing. Whoever sent me this photo, thank you, PK wrote over a sweet photo. They were like happy together or whatever. Anyway, all I'm going to tell you is that I didn't think PK was sober at that event. From watching his behavior on his Instagram feed, he's blocked me, but I could see it was a little odd what he posted. You guys might remember that one. Yeah. So perhaps when the separation got more solidified, he said, you know what? I kind of miss partying. I think I'm going to go back to it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know why people bother to block me. Everybody sends me everything. I don't need to go look at your feed. I keep saying it. Just don't bother. So let's go ahead and listen to the conversation that PK and Mauricio have together over lunch that appears on the show.
It's a huge thing. It just came out an hour ago and it feels like super real, and I didn't expect to react like that. It's like, I was fine this morning, and then
you've been through a big day today. I've been separated now nearly a year, and I've recently, moved out. During this process, you're going to have hard days, you're going to have easier days, there's going to be days that you wake up and you're going to just be miserable. I've kind of learned how to enjoy the journey versus looking for a solution, right?
Kyle texted me.
She did.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Kyle texted me.
Nice. You're an inspiration to me, both you and Kyle, in terms of how you've conducted yourself, right? Now, it's different for me because my kids are younger.
Did you talk to the kids?
No. We're not going to be talking to the kids, so I'm not saying we know what we're doing, because the truth is they're 8 and 10. It's a very personal thing, and no one knows our kids better than us. No one.
Did you say anything to the kids yet, or not really?
No, and we're not going to. We can be doing things as a family. Like, we're not in a toxic place. He's got a sober coach. That I'm not privy to that. No, this is
Real.
He's a full-blown alcoholic.
What happened?
I'll tell you what happened.
Okay, so just saying it. You're going to not tell the kids about the divorce, but you're going on a national television show and doing this scene where you call the father an alcoholic for the whole world to see, which, by the way, you're not supposed to announce that someone's in AA for their anonymity. That's like a rule. So what the hell is Dorit doing here, right? This is a bunch of BS, okay?
I got sober. That's what happened. I got sober, I got clear, and I realised that we were just taking bites out of each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of resentment. Dorit isn't the most able to listen. She's not.
He's got avoidance issues, communicating, working
And
through
are you
it.
a good listener?
yes, I'm a good listener.
Do you still get together? You know what I'm saying?
Do we still have sex?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so thus the cheating. Just saying. Now, I want to say something. This is really important. All of a sudden, this news came out that Dorit and PK's house, which their name is not really on, there's like 8 investors funding this house that they always shot in. It came out that that house was in pre-foreclosure. We looked into it, and some of my friends that are in Orange County and Los Angeles real estate looked into it, and their records that they saw showed only one mispayment and that the payment had been fixed. But then the son said that they had called the county register and they found out 4 payments were missed and they were still missing. So there were different records flying around about the pre-foreclosure. So I didn't report on it because I was like, I'm not totally sure the thing is in pre-foreclosure. But one thing is for sure, the entire cast believes that Dorit and PK live above their means, and they question how much money they really have. And obviously they don't really own their house. They just have like an investment they're fronting on this property, and they haven't sold it. It is up for sale, I think, now. But the reality is that Dorit Kemsley hasn't been living in that house. She's living in a house that looks very similar to it, but it isn't the house. I don't think. Different stairwell. Go check it out.
It's also fresh and new. I think it's going to,
Are you jealous if he goes out to dinner?
Oh, God, no. He does all the time. He's a very social guy.
You are not like out and about with your friends every day and every night.
That's one of his biggest issues.
When we started off dating, and we were like in Bonnie and Clyde. She was my shadow. We were together. I'd go out. She'd come and stylize the evening, and she'd socialize, and life got in the way, you know. And we had the babies, and then we moved. She could say, well, you were away, and I could say, well, I was working, trying to sustain the lifestyle that Dorit and I live, and also to sustain her ambition. From my perspective, I wanted to know how much of our problems were me, how much were her.
So the ambition that he alludes to is the show. So what he's saying is he sacrificed a lot for her to be on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and put up this facade and pretend to have musical friends that, you know, will go on and sing, which PK used his network in London. He's all in with a musician network, like old managers that run, you know, old famous stars like Boy George, who's actually his really good friend. But anyway, PK worked all that for her to make her an awesome character on the show, got her casted on the show, supported her in every way, and she's bringing in the big paycheck now. And I think Dorit was like, I don't want to share my paycheck with you who keeps having financial problems. I want to keep my paycheck and build my life. And I think PK was like, wait a minute, your paycheck is our paycheck because I supported you.
What can we change? What I realised is I can't recover unless we put some space between us.
I wouldn't have chosen this route. I wouldn't have. There's something between, you know, having an argument and separating. You know, you can work it out, but for whatever reason and however, whyever, this is necessary. I chose to stick by PK's side through a bunch of public scrutiny, like the bankruptcy, gambling debts, the suspected DUI. But for PK, it's poof. Let's just get a separation. Isn't there a way to meet in the middle? Obviously, but not with someone like PK. It's black, it's white.
You're not having sex with him. He's probably seeing somebody else. You're complaining about money. He feels like he made a huge sacrifice for you. And once you call a guy like PK's manhood in question in terms of finances, of course he's going to use it because then you'll never know he was cheating on you. So Dorit is pissed at Kyle because she downplayed their relationship on her Amazon Live. and also kind of made it sound like Dorit imagined their friendship. Kyle is pissed at Dorit because she was like, don't bullshit the fans. Everybody knows that, yeah, we're friends, but we're show friends and not real life friends. She also, Kyle, is pissed that Dorit sided with Kathy Hilton a few times on the show when she barely knows Kathy Hilton. So she saw that as a real social climbing move. Now, you may not know this, but I know this. And like back in the day, Lisa Vanderpump thought that Dorit was a social climber that was kind of going around. So I don't know if she ever said that on the later seasons or not, but that was definitely out there. So Kyle would be sensitive to this, okay, when this came up. Now, what else did they say? And the producers are going to play into that tonight by having Dorit go over and talk to Kathy Hilton about her separation from PK, but not Kyle because they're estranged. Now, Kyle is pissed at Dorit for that, but she's also pissed at Dorit for trying to get her fired because the text message that Dorit shared with the producers actually said on it that Kyle thinks the show is toxic, which is a big no-no. And so the fact that Dorit shared that with the producers wasn't just about, being manipulated for the reunion and all this BS. It was trying to get her in trouble with Evolution and Andy. And that is why Kyle's really pissed at Dorit. Trust me. Now, I got one more thing to tell you. Kyle is pissed at Dorit for being so touchy-feely with her husband, and she did get hip to it when she started watching all the different feeds and everybody talking about it, right? Including me. So I have a feeling that Kyle also got really upset about that, but she'll never let Dorit know. However, she'll attack. And how she's going to attack, in my opinion, is she's going to start having a conversation with PK without Dorit included. Now, you could say that they're just really good friends, her and PK, and she just missed Dorit's ex so much she couldn't help herself. But I somehow think Kyle could have held back texting PK, but payback's a bitch. So Sutton has her surreal party, and we meet the new housewife, Bose. Of course, I did a deep dive on her already in the Patreon, but we find out on the show that she was the ex-CMO, Chief Marketing Officer for Netflix, and she worked at Endeavor, the big agency, for a while, and I think in marketing and other, executive positions that were impressive for large corporations on the marketing side. We also find out that she's 47 years old. She loves Dorit, and they're going to be besties. And in addition to that, sadly, she's a widow because her husband died of cancer. Garcelle's just living her best life on tonight's show. She's executive producing 2 projects, one of which she's starring in, and she's really proud to be, 50 plus years old and doing so well in Hollywood, which usually age out of. We also find out her son has a new girlfriend, and the baby that he shared with the previous ex-wife who he cheated on is doing well. So here's a post that Kyle Richards did about going on a safari. Morgan Wade went on this safari but wouldn't appear in any of the photos. So awkwardly, she's caught in several pictures that Kyle posted, hiding, which is worse. And we get the same kind of feel on tonight's show. Kyle Richards says on tonight's show that she's in an evolving sexuality situation with doesn't want to say Morgan Wade's name, which is just weird because we know Morgan Wade doesn't want to be associated with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills anymore because it kind of hurt her career a little bit, not helped it. But at the same time, it just is very strange that Kyle Richards can't say, this is my girlfriend, or talk about it like it's a girlfriend relationship. She's already talked to the kids about it. I told you guys that I wouldn't believe it until she told the kids. She told the kids. So now I believe it totally. And I'm as shocked as Kyle Richards is about her change in sexuality. But she obviously has fallen in love with someone. So here we find ourselves. But I think this whole Coy thing is really annoying. And I'm sure it's annoyed the fans too. And it's still happening. And I think it's annoyed the producers also because of the shady edit tonight. Garcelle says on the show tonight, by the way, if you didn't want Morgan Wade and you to be scrutinized in the tabloids, then why did you do the music video where you're gay lovers? Good point, Garcelle. Some people are speculating Kyle Richards wants to get off the show and move to Nashville to be with Morgan Wade and get out of the limelight, or maybe Montana or something. But I don't know. I think she's going to struggle to let all this go. She says she doesn't love it, but she loves it. I know she loves it. So I don't believe that. She may say that, but I don't believe it. Please join Reality Diamond Freddie and I for a live on Thursday following Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 Reunion Part 3. We're going to do it right after the show. I'd love to hear your comments about Beverly Hills this week in that live, as well as, of course, the Orange County, wrap up that we're doing for season 18. Of course, we'll talk gossip all around, and it should be fun. Oh, by the way, Freddie's where PK and Mauricio were. I think he's doing his live from the Good Time Hotel. I'm sure he's talking to the staff as we speak to get tea. All right, you guys, I'll see you on Thursday or in the Patreon sooner.